We are back on Get Up, and we run the floor through yesterday's NBA playoff action. Trae Young leading a balanced attack, 27 points, 9 assists. Hawks blowing the Knicks out with a commanding third quarter and now a commanding 3-1 series lead. Julius Randle had 23 for the Knicks, but just 7 of 19 shooting. Game 5 back at the Garden Wednesday night. Knicks playing for their season. Boston last night. The Nets, big three, combining for 104 points as Brooklyn blew out the Celtics 141-126. Nets now lead that series 3-1. Terrible moment here. Kyrie Irving leaving the floor. A fan, and I use that term loosely, threw a bottle in his direction. He was subsequently arrested. The Clippers have fought back from being down 2-0 to the Mavericks to even that series. A big win last night on the road. That series now tied 2 games apiece. Kawhi Leonard leading the way with 29. Home team has yet to win a game in the 4 games of that series. And then in Los Angeles yesterday, the Lakers lose to Phoenix, and more importantly, perhaps, they lose Anthony Davis, who strained his left groin late in the second quarter, did not return. Woj was with us earlier, said he is day-to-day. That series is tied at 2 games apiece. Game 5, the quick turnaround, is tomorrow night. No rest for the weary, and that brings us the one, the only, Stephen A. Smith, who was here for First Take in exactly a half hour. And Steve, I want to start there. This is now a best of 3. The Suns have home court advantage and a quick turnaround. If Anthony Davis isn't going to play, what's going to happen?
LeBron's going home for the first time in the first round in his career, period. They're not beating this Suns team without Anthony Davis, especially with CP3 now looking healthier than he looked in games 2 and 3. When you consider the young lines that they've got, those thoroughbreds, the way they go at you, they quicken the pace. You got a star in Devin Booker. You're exceptionally well coached by Monty Williams and his staff. And DeAndre Ayton is playing highly efficient basketball. You're talking about a dude that's putting in 20 and 10 a night in this series consistently. It's not 30 and 10, 30 one night, 10 another. It's consistently 20, 21, 22. Yesterday, he was balling, had about 17 rebounds. I just can't say enough about what I'm seeing from these guys. It's going to take the greatness of LeBron James along with Anthony Davis to pull out this series like they basically did in games 2 and 3. Without Anthony Davis, LeBron James at this stage and point in his career will not be enough, regardless of how broad those shoulders are. They will go down. It might be in 7 games because Phoenix might need both home playoff wins in order to pull it off. But I believe Phoenix is going to the second round and the Lakers are going home and LeBron is going home in the first round for the first time in his illustrious career if he doesn't get Anthony Davis.
And what will that mean? Just quickly, because I want to get to the Knicks here. But some will look at it and say, LeBron James, he's the greatest of all time. He needs to find a way to win this series, even if he doesn't have his running mate.
No, when you're in your 18th year, you're 36 years of age, you've accomplished the things that he's accomplished. There is such a thing as attrition and father time. And it's not to say that that should be held against him in any way, because I don't think it should. You're going up against young dudes that they can ignore you and beat everybody else. They could let you get yours and still contain everybody else. They can't do that with Anthony Davis on the floor. But without Anthony Davis on the floor, they can do that. I would not hold that against LeBron James at all. But they will not win this series, in my opinion, without Anthony Davis.
All right, fair enough. Now, let's get to the one that is nearest and dearest to your heart. Through 4 games in this series between the Knicks and the Hawks that coming in we thought might be as evenly matched as any series that we had. What have we seen?
Well, what we've seen is a young kid by the name of Trae Young who's emerged as a star in this league, and he's validated his greatness. To be miniature, to average better than 25 and 10 in his first 4 playoff games in his career, you just don't see that too often. I think there's only like 3 other players that have done that, and their names include guys like Steph Curry and Oscar Robertson. But the other thing is it was supposed to be 2 All-Stars in this series, and only 1 has shown up. We appreciate Julius Randle. I'm a born in the Bronx, raised in Queens, New York, lifelong Knick fan. I have a vote. Obviously, I voted for Julius Randle to be the league's most improved player, and he deserves it. And we're thankful for what he's done. But he's been awful this series. It's just no other way to slice it. When your opponents are screaming, he's going left, and everybody knows it, and you still try to do that, and you're so limited with what you can do. You can't get your shot off. You shoot like 20 for 73 this series. You're not going to the basket. You're not making plays for other people. It's either your shot is falling or it's not. You're turning the ball over as well. He has shown He cannot be a number one offensive option. He's definitely a strong number two and elite number three, but he's not the number one option for the New York Knicks. And that's the only thing that you can take out of what he has done thus far. You know not to move forward with him as your number one option unless you want to go home in the first round of the playoffs. I'm still not giving up because I'm a Knicks fan, and that's just the way it is. I'm holding out hope. But Julius Randle has been an incredible disappointment on the offensive side of the ball. And I'll throw R.J. Barrett into that as well, because last time I checked, we all have two hands. We all have two arms. Most of us anyway, we have two hands. We have two arms. I mean, these dudes, can I see a right hand? Can I just see it? Just show me that you actually know that you have two hands instead of just one, because every single thing is the left hand. Everything. They can go around the block, up the hill, around the corner. They still coming back to their left. They can't help it. And I'm like, damn. That's how I feel right now.
I think I'm like, damn, is pretty much the way Knicks fans everywhere feel. Yes. Borky, I'm staying on this for 1 second because I want to throw this thought at you. As starting right now, Game 4 yesterday, game of the night, Suns, Lakers, LeBron's Lakers looking to go up 3-1. Chris Paul talked his way into the starting lineup with an injury. Second quarter, Lakers a 2-point lead, and now we're running. Alex Caruso's going to throw it up, and oh, look at LeBron James throwing it down. So nice you have to see it twice. Markieff Morris says, I can't believe what I just saw. Look at LeBron going up, throwing it down with the athleticism, and the Lakers had the 2-point lead. But final minute of the half, here's where absolutely everything may have changed. Just watch Anthony Davis coming from the top of your screen. He goes up, he goes down, and I'm not sure when he's getting back up again. As we'll show you a closer look, he appears to land on DeAndre Ayton's foot, grabbing the left groin. He would leave, he would not return. We'll have an update from Woj in just a moment. To the third quarter we go. No Anthony Davis. I told you Chris Paul talked his way into the lineup, and he talked his way into a win. Look at Paul finding his space. Suns up 13. Lakers really struggled in the third quarter. They shot just 3 of 16 from the floor. And then in the fourth, they never really made that run. Look at the frustration on the face of LeBron, or at least in the body language, as Dennis Schroeder misses that layup, and then the other way we go. Here's Jay Crowder with a 3. LeBron had 25 points, 12 rebounds, but not enough. Suns win by 8. This series is all tied up at 2.
Well, it's next man up. And obviously, if he's not ready for Game 5, it's going to be a tough blow for our ball club. But, next man up. And we've been like that all year. And, we're going to have to be like that in the hostile environment in Game 5.
That all sounds good. Next man up until that man you're talking about is Anthony Davis. Now, the Lakers are 11-7 this year in games that LeBron plays and AD does not. But that does not tell the story. They were 1-6 in those games against teams that made the playoffs. Here's Woj with more on the injury to AD.
Lakers All-Star Anthony Davis' status for Tuesday's Game 5 against the Phoenix Suns is unclear, I'm told. He will be day-to-day with a groin strain. He suffered it Sunday in the Lakers' Game 4 loss to the Phoenix Suns. And now suddenly the Lakers tied it 2 with the Phoenix Suns in this series. Face the possibility of falling behind in this series. Chris Paul was rejuvenated Sunday in that Game 4 win. And now the Lakers, with the uncertainty surrounding Anthony Davis' status for Tuesday, they may rely even more on LeBron James to get them out of this first-round series with the Suns.
So much there as I bring Seth Greenberg back into the conversation. The scheduling of this also feels important. You heard him say Tuesday. They don't get an extra day to rest or anything like that. And so, Seth, for those who are just joining us, in your opinion, if Anthony Davis cannot play the rest of the way in what is now a best-of-3 in which Phoenix has home court advantage, what do you expect to happen?
I expect Phoenix to win the series, especially if Chris Paul obviously has to be healthy into that equation. But if you take away Anthony Davis, you take away one of the top 5 players in the NBA. You take away an elite defender. His guys that he defends shoot 38% from the field, 25 from the 3. A guy that can get to the foul line and obviously complement LeBron and take pressure off LeBron. The other thing I think the Lakers have to do is Montrezl Harrell, where is he? He was 6th man of the year a year ago. All right, he can't even get in a game. To me, Gasol, Harrell, they have to play if the Lakers are going to have a chance. But right now, if you look at the makeup of this Lakers team, and we didn't even mention Caldwell Pope, because that's another guy on that team that's an elite defender and a shot maker that they're missing.
So let's look at this from a LeBron James standpoint. If indeed they're going to do this without Anthony Davis, he is going to be, just heard Woj say, they're going to need even more from him. What will LeBron have to do if AD isn't out there to get his team through this round?
He's going to have to dominate the ball on both sides. I mean, he's going to be a point forward. He's got to play the four, and he's got to attack downhill. He can't settle to shoot jump shots. The ball's got to start and end in his hands. He's got to get paint touches. He's got to get to the rim. Every defensive rebound's got to be a push and an attack. And then he's got to surround himself with some guys that can take pressure off of him defensively. But LeBron, look, he's done it before. But this team that he's doing it with and the team he's doing it against is a little bit different. This is not 30-year-old LeBron James or 32-year-old LeBron James. The amount of pressure that's going to be put on him, and I understand the record that's at stake, but I'm not sure the complementary players will enable him to be who he needs to be against a very good Suns team.
We will see. Again, this thing turns around quickly. They play tomorrow night in Phoenix. Seth Greenberg, outstanding. Thank you. Stephen A. will join us.